Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 9 game in my Neustrashimy. Going over the matchmaking threats to my ship. Missouri, Donskoy, Baltimore, Edinburgh, might have radar. He actually does in this game. Atlanta, Kitakaze, and Haida. The map is Two Brothers. It's a standard battle. And really what comes down to a standard battle, destroyers need to get out there on this map and really locate where the enemy team's at. Give your team the best information that it can make, where you can adjust your forces accordingly. If the enemy team just YOLOs one side, you can have a couple guys run up here, maybe even go mid to pressure the cap, while the rest of the team, one of them kites out, the other draws them in and just bleeds them, and these guys get cross shots. Uh, I mean, there's a lot of different ways, and you just got to be flexible in the way that you move your cruisers and battleships on this map, really in accordance to what your destroyers are spotting. Here I've got a Bruzy and a Martel pushing with me pretty aggressively, so I'm going to take a fairly aggressive uh, angle pushing in here. Um, I'm trying to get vision here. It's still a little early to get spots out here yet, but you're going to see eventually I'm going to start shifting this way to try to start spotting stuff coming over the low end of this island. Now, above all, what I don't want to do is get too close to this island and blunder into an enemy DD, get radared at where that DD can just smoke up and farm me, because I've got no radar back here. So that's the main driver and why I'm changing my angle. I've gone about as deep as I feel like I really want to with the information that I have right now, which is pretty much nothing. Now my intent here, nice and safe, just gonna reverse back into the enemy and start trying to get spotting. I know the enemy DD's close because they spotted probably my Martel and these two battleships shot, and that's telling me that if there's two battleships here, there's probably a couple cruisers and at least one of the DDs. I pick up the Haida. I'm just gonna start kiting back. Now, this is perfect matchmaking for the Haida. Uh, there's no radar here to help him, so this Haida is gonna be a pain in my butt most of this game, simply because I don't have a way to really counter this guy with him being supported by a Donskoy, a Baltimore, and he's just got all the radar help in the world, whereas I really don't. Pretty sure there's going to be torps here, so want to try to use this island as cover. There's the torps. With any luck, that saves my battleship some HP. And right here, I'm just trying to line up a torpedo shot. And this shot, I'm just going to pause it here a second. I'm looking to see what, you know, how many different courses of ships will overlap with things. And I'm looking, this Tirpitz is slowing down. This Donskoy is sailing in the area. I don't think I really looked too close at what this Baltimore is doing. But I dropped these torps. Got a cruiser that's questionable in his positioning, just trying to let him know, hey, you know, you really should get back. That's a lot of firepower for you to try to tank. Take a quick peek at my torps. Oops. Well, that's nice. Just barely missed the Donskoy. And wait a minute. What do we have here? What a nice treat. Torpedoes are expensive. Now that kill pretty much gives us or those two kills gives us a really decisive advantage on this flank, and we need to try to take advantage of it. The Edinburgh's finally revealed himself, and the way he's playing is making me think that this guy might be radar. He's not smoking up, he's kiting, he's not being aggressive in his positioning. There's the Haida torps. This Iowa's pushing. I'm looking over here to see if I can line up a torpedo shot on this guy. I was fairly sure that he was going to stop and start trying to reverse here, which is why I dropped smoke here. I just didn't see, you know, trying to push like this into a Colorado and Aroma. The further south he goes, the more of a broadside he gives to the Colorado. Just didn't think that that was really a wise course of action, but you know, it is one of those things. Really want somebody to take this Donskoy out, but nobody's really interested in doing it. Dropping these torps. These torps are so fast that Colorado can't hit him. His rudder was shifted over. There's no way that he could turn back into those torps before they pass him. And here, just trying to use this island and my smoke as cover to try to work over this Iowa. Get a fire on him. There's two fires. I think I'm going to switch to AP momentarily. This is a misplay. I should be switching to AP sooner. Unfortunately, we're losing battleships to this Iowa. And that's just really rough. I feel like we should have been able to pick that Iowa up for, you know, maybe half the HP on one of the battleships, but it cost us a decent amount of hit points. Now, if you haven't seen my Neustra build, I am running a full gun spec on it. Earlier videos, I was running full torpedoes, and I'm just kind of exploring different options with the ship, see kind of how far you can stretch this ship out. Just trying to put pressure on this Donskoy. Nobody on my team really seems like they're interested in doing it. So, I do have my repairs available, which is a significant amount of HP, so I can play a little loose with my HP at the moment here. Now, this has pretty much given us the east side of the map. We've kind of pushed and we've either killed or rolled back all of the enemy team here, and it looks like here we're kind of in a stalemate situation. I'm not 100% fond of what I see. Our Cleveland just went down, um, but they appear to be successfully kiting my team here, and as these ships shift over, that's going to start to be a lot of firepower down in this area, and I don't like what I'm seeing, because you see there's no shots coming in here. Okay, yeah, there's a shot here by the Donskoy. And you can start to see that my team's starting to unravel here. Missouri taking out a DD with radar really shouldn't happen. DD just needs to be patient, bait the radar out, and then go in and torp it. And unfortunately, we just lost really our only set of eyes down there. And you can see the impact that's having now, where ships that were spotted, everything's gone dark. And that's going to create a real problem for these ships down here. And that pretty much tells me that the West has actually fallen, simply because there's no spotting. These cruisers can't use these islands. This battleship just wants to, sit, way in the back and just snipe. He's not likely to push in here and provide vision for the team, and honestly, he really can't, because it's a Jean Bart. It's not like it really has armor for a lot of what's over there. Even the DD's guns over there can tear him up. Speaking of my HP pool, I did take a little bit of damage there. I popped my repair actually expecting to take more damage there, so I didn't get as much out of that repair party as I thought I was going to. But that's the first repair down. I'm pushing back in here. I still don't know if this Edinburgh is really radar or not yet. I think that was the Donskoy radar. I was hoping that I was going to be able to get vision on that Edinburgh when he shot. Unfortunately, no. And this tells me that the Edinburgh is actually radar. So just going to keep kiting back. And this is why I like this ship more than Black. It's very forgiving as far as your ability to push into these types of situations and be aggressive. I mean, I'm up to almost 750,000 potential damage, and I've got the potential to heal back to, 50% HP. Pretty much at any time I want right now, but the heal is actually so large that it doesn't do me any good right now to actually use it. I actually need to take more damage before I can get the full amount out of this repair. Full repair is a little over 8,000 HP with survivability expert and all the bells and whistles. Now, this push here, I believe that it's a doomed push at this time. Everything's too low, and they're just successfully kiting my team. My team's just allowing themselves to be chewed up, and it's just not a good situation. I'm trying to do the best I can to really deal damage, but it's very complicated right now with the positioning. These guys aren't able to actually take, they're not taking solid positions where they can, you know, mitigate damage. So it's things like, look how many ships are here that can shoot at these guys. They're not using an island or something to, you know, for example, this Roma sitting back here would be able to shoot at these guys while avoiding damage from these ships back here. And it's just, there's a there's a lot of things positioning wise that really has cost us the game on this flank. And we had a really good advantage, but I know that this game's going to be a loss at this time. I don't believe that these guys are going to be able to hold out. I can't see their HP pool, but it looks to me like they're getting pushed hard right now. And this Neptune's position, I think he's going to get nuked pretty quick by this Bismarck. That's the end of my Roma and Charles Martel. I mean, I don't understand why you're pushing into this situation. You're just letting yourself be free farmed. They both go down, and it's just me left on this flank. And rather than just throw my ship away, I am gonna try to delay this flank the best I can. Unfortunately, my torpedoes are out of sync, so I can't really launch a really tight net of torpedoes like I'd like to. But just gonna keep kiting, just trying to keep doing what I can. I'm trying to bait this cruiser into turning into those torps, and only take a couple shots, and then just keep dodging fire. Just try to drop off naturally. Try to save my smoke screen for a little bit later. Popped repair just because that rear gun turret got disabled, and obviously I want to keep my guns. I have a feeling that I'm going to need them. That cruiser's repair is on cooldown. Just trying to see if I can get a fire and potentially finish this cruiser off. He gets a good shot into me. I see the Atlanta pop up. I'm just going to use my smoke. And again, just trying to get every little bit of damage that I can over here. I don't like to die easy when I can avoid it. And but I know my number's pretty much up. I'm waiting for the Donskoy to radar. I don't know if his radar's out or what, but they're not radaring me, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm still in the hunt. Taking a look at different torpedo options. I'm looking at these guys, and what I'm doing right here, I'm trying to see if I can bait course changes and stuff like that I can potentially lead. And I see the Donskoy make the radical turn, and I launched those torpedoes thinking that this Donskoy is going to turn back, and that I might get the ability to maybe hit one or both of those ships with that one set of torps if that Donskoy turns back in. And my thought is, he saw me shoot down here, he's going to want to turn back in and come down this way. And it just doesn't work out. And I'm spotted by the Atlanta now, so I've just decided at this point I'm just going to keep kiting and keep trying to shoot this Atlanta. Now this is actually a critical thing. If you watch that, um, I learned something because I had my rear gun turret disabled again. I repaired it, and while the repair was active, another shell hit it and destroyed the mount. And I've never actually seen a gun turret or a module like that break while it's supposedly in its immunity period with your damage control. I don't know if this is a mechanic change or if I've just never seen it before. Um, but with as many thousands of games that I've had at this point, um, this kind of surprised me that I actually would lose a gun turret while my damage control is active. So without the rear gun turret, I've got to get more broadside with my guns, and that's going to mark the end of my ship here pretty soon. And the team's able to finally put me down with a little over 30 seconds left on the clock. And it looks like my team was able to finish the west side of the map. That did surprise me. But, I mean, even with me trying to contest that cap as much as I could, the point's different. It just I couldn't contest it long enough before they pushed us out, and we lose on points. Not as much credits and XP this game because a lot of the damage was on battleships rather than destroyers, but still fairly good chunk of damage. Again, this Haida, his XP really pays off because he's 2 tiers lower than me. He was just able to smoke up and take advantage of that situation and get a lot of valuable damage in on me. You'll see here in a minute when I check to see how much damage he did to me is something like 11k, and that's a pretty good chunk on a destroyer, especially for 2 tier difference. So that's a lot of his XP right there. And yeah, you can see almost 12k. But, I mean, 1.3 million potential damage tanked with 43,000 damage received in a destroyer. This destroyer is very durable. Uh, I could not do anything like this with a black. Um, so, anyway, this is, another Neustrashimy game. I know I've been putting a few of these out here, but I've been trying to play with this ship some more just because I bought it. It was pricey. Haven't really had a chance to play it much, so if I'm playing something, you're probably getting videos on it. So if you've got any questions or comments, leave them below. I hope you guys are having a good day, and let me know if you're sick of Neustrashimy games, and I will go play something else. Hope you guys are having a good night, and I will talk to you later.